two people meet, they enjoy each other's company, they fall in love, they change their statuses in relationship. They see things they don't like in a person. They start telling their friends about what they don't like. They start texting more, talking less. They break up. Short story, right? But we've all been a part of these stories. We've all done this before. So welcome to Hell in the Hallway with your host, Billy, your favorite therapist and podcaster and author. I did part 1, so I hope you got a chance to review that and listen a little bit, where I kind of talked about staying classy, being kind and firm, being clear, and also not, and calling a time of death on a relationship when it's time, You don't drag around a corpse hoping it comes to life. This is not a Weekend at Harry's, and I'm so telling my age with that. But anyway, this is part 2. So let's talk about some of the other components. And again, these lists I'm giving you are not exhaustive. There's more, right? I just think I give you these little snippets, and hopefully they're a little helpful, right? So now, one thing that I will add that I didn't add the first time is stay out the communication cycle, right? If you're breaking up with somebody, you kind of need to kind of gain some distance. That also means not texting every day. That also means not showing up, wondering what they're doing. Because if you've made a decision, live in your decision. Unless you're not sure, live in your decision. Don't play with people's hearts. Stay out of the communication cycle and allow a wound to begin even the fathom of healing. Allow for that. So stay out of a communication cycle for a while if you need to. Gain some distance. I would also say don't get everybody's opinion. OMG. Sometimes we ask everybody their opinion and telling everybody our circumstances. But here's the thing. When we decide to change our minds, those people still live in that decision that you made. You've changed your mind. You decide to do something different. Oh, you love him. Oh, you love her. And they still hate them. Don't include everybody in your relationship decisions. It's really not healthy. Now, I'm not saying talk to no one, right? I'm sure you got some trusted sources, just a couple, if not your therapist. I am always the holder of secrets, but it's so important that you don't tell everybody and get everyone involved. So you got families hating this partner of yours that at some point you might plan to get back to, and here they are, can't stand them, but you done made up. So decide who those trusted sources are. Okay, but don't tell everybody your business. It's really not, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense because it doesn't really add value, to be perfectly honest. The biggest thing that I would say is expect withdrawal symptoms. Yes, didn't know that, huh? Even when you can't stand a person, if you spend a lot of time with them, they have become part of your soul. They are connected to you. They are enmeshed in a way. Even when it's unhealthy, you might find yourself like, wow, feeling kind of disconnected in a way. Even when you know you shouldn't be with that person. It's tough. You have to go through a withdrawal process of this is who you spoke to every day. This is who you called. This is who you touched. This is who you thought of or who thought of you. Even when it's angry, this is who you argue with, right? Even when it's that. Even in some of the worst circumstances, we are surprised when we feel pain when something that's bad ends. Isn't that fascinating? Because we're familiar with it. We're familiar. And at the end of the day, there's a piece of us that remembered why we got with that person to begin with. So expect some element of withdrawal symptoms when you break up with a person. Okay? The other thing that I would say is don't have sex with them. Okay? I know that seems obvious, but it's not. And what ends up happening, you end up creating this cycle of destructiveness in terms of your ability to completely tether from a person, to completely separate from a tether, right? So now you're connected, but you're not with them anymore. And now it's all confusing. You don't know what's going on. And the reason why you're doing it, because you're used to it, right? This is who I've been sleeping with. This is a person I saw on one person's post. This person handles my special needs. And I thought that was hilarious. I get it. But she was talking about somebody independent. But if it's your ex, that could be messy. It makes things really confusing. If you're going to break, make it a clear break. Disconnect physically. The other thing I would say, I saw someone say the best way to get over a person is getting underneath somebody else. For the love of God, that is not the answer, right? All that does is, one, is push down your pain and actually introduce this new pain because you're having meaningless sex with someone. Now, if you're out here expressing your sexuality, hey, I'm not here to judge you on that, but I am here to say that that's not the way to manage pain. Not at all. So what are we figuring out today? Figuring out ways to break up with people, figuring out how to make it clear, keep it kind, keep it firm, expecting some withdrawal symptoms, staying out that dramatic communication cycle. Stay out of that, because all that does is introduce hurt over and over again. Remember when you did this, and then you did this? That's why we're breaking up. That's why we can't be together anymore. Oh, you know what I meant to add? Don't be petty. Oh my God, petty has made a comeback, and people are actually proud of that horrible attribute. Don't be petty. Be adult about it. If you're an adult. I mean, if you're a child, you're a child. But don't be an adult child. Don't be petty about it. Stay classy with it. If you need to move on, move on. I wish people well who are no longer in my circle. If that breaking up it's not even always about romantic breakups, right? I wish you well regardless of what the breakup is. To be honest with you, I want you to be okay, because I know I'm going to be okay. It may be painful right now, but I'm going to be okay. And lastly, do not have sex with them. Oh my God, you're never going to get over them. It's going to actually further entrench your pain and make it more difficult to move on. All right? So if you need to process some of these things, I think it's important to talk to people, but not everyone, right? Pick some trusted sources. Talk to your therapist if that's an option for you, which I hope it is. Communicate with people who you worship with. And I mean only a trusted few. Everyone shouldn't have privy and should not have access to your relationship. Again, thank you so much for tuning in. This was part 2 of Breaking Up. Rules to breaking up. I hope to see you again next time, and we'll process more. Until then, call that time of death, honey. It's done.